Okay, so first things first, I think I'm going to kind of call this the Wonky case razor, and the reason for that will become evident here in a couple minutes. But starting out with the case razor vault pattern, I was pretty excited for because it looked like a pretty cool little knife and everything. And I really like this natural white bone or whatever they're calling it with the flag shield. I didn't know how I would feel about the flag shield, but it's like an enamel painted flag shield. And I quite like it, and I like the white bone, and I like that it comes with carbon steel. But starting talking about carbon steel, right here on the blade, there is a black spot of corrosion um, on the tang of the blade, which means that either they didn't polish it off before putting it in the box, or some moisture got in the box and caused that little spot of corrosion. Now, for me, not the end of the world because I was planning on carrying the knife and everything anyway. Um, but a brand new knife shouldn't have a spot of corrosion on the tang of it already. Um, but this one's not quite as bad as the blue saw cut one that I got was, because this one is, in my opinion, a usable knife. Whereas the blue saw cut one really wasn't very usable at all because the blade wouldn't like stay in place. I would call that kind of unsafe. Um, First things first, absolutely no blade play, which is hilarious because of I'll show you the other problems. But there's no blade play. There is a huge gap here that you can watch TV through. So there's that. You can see my mat through it. Look at how big that gap is. It's a big old gap right there. I'm not somebody who really generally cares about gaps, but stuff like that really shows how much you care about the product you're putting out. You can see right through there. So not good. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it, but oh yeah, you can see it. Look at the blade. Look at how like cocked. I'm trying to think of the term. How crooked the blade is. There's a term I want to use, but it's like I think it's in the bolster wrong. Like somebody drilled the hole wrong, and then so then you'll see it's crooked off to the one side, and then the really funny thing is the blade centering. The blade's pretty much touching this liner, which I think is the opposite liner to the way that the blade is bent. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. Trying to work here through the camera. So you can kind of see that there. It's bent off to this side, which would mean that it should rub this liner, but then it rubs the other liner. So this is the wonky case razor for those reasons. Um, yeah, not really great craftsmanship. And like I said, usable knife. You could use this. The blade actually has really good action, which again, hilarious. This knife has no blade play, and the action's awesome. The blade is all sorts of cocked in weird directions and all sorts of nonsense. I've never seen a knife this far off like this. This is crazy. But basically, I think, and I might be wrong, but I think maybe they were trying to fix the blade centering problem instead of just redoing the knife or tossing it, and they got the blade cocked off to one side or something like this. That's bad, and then got it not quite touching the liner and called it good and put it in a box and shipped it out to me. Um, well, they shipped it out to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and then Smoky Mountain Knife Works sent it to me. But that's besides the point. The dealer shouldn't be responsible for manufacturer defects as far as I'm concerned. I could send this knife back to Case or Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Smoky Mountain Knife Works would refund me. Case would fix the knife. Case would take several months or would take probably 2 months to do so. I don't feel like waiting that long. And the knife is usable, so I'll probably just deal with it. Um, and some people are going to say, you should definitely send it back and everything. I just don't want to, really. Um, and, since I have the YouTube channel and everything, buying Case knives is kind of something that I do, just because, Case is a once great company, and I want them to be great again because Pennsylvania knife maker. I've been to their, museum or whatever up there in Bradford. Cool facility. I really want to see Case do well. But the problem is they don't seem to have people checking the knives before they go in boxes. And I know Case will never see this, but if I was WR Case and Sons, if I was in charge of WR Case and Sons, or if I was running the knife part, if I was over there at Zippo running WR Case and Sons, or in charge of some facet of making the pocket knives, I would want to have a few people that would do quality checks, and people that's just their job, is just to check the knives before they go in the boxes. They pull it off the line, they pick it up, they do, flip on it, they just kind of check to see, make sure there's no gigantic gaps, make sure the blade open and closes without any issues, make sure the centering is not this bad. I don't care if the centering's off a little bit, it's a pocket knife, it's not the end of the world. um, but ideally you don't really want it touching the liner. um, but if I was in charge of Case or had something to do with WR Case and Sons production of pocket knives, again, I would want to have a few people that all their job is to check the knives when they come off the production line before they go into the boxes and get shipped out. And like I said, all day they'd just be looking over pocket knives, making sure that it's a decent product that you're sending out to your customers. Because I think Case kind of gets this reputation for being like for collectors. And, I get that and everything. And so many people that love Case, they'll say, well, you got to pick one out in person. It shouldn't be like that, man. Great Eastern Cutlery, I have no concerns about Great Eastern Cutlery. I order them from online all the time. I have no concerns about the knife being a piece of crap. Whereas with Case, I can't say that. And Case better get their crap together because Baron Son put out these 4-inch Barlows, and every one that I've seen, every video that I've seen on these, they're almost perfect. Like, these are really good knives for less than most Case knives. In fact, less than pretty much every Case knife. I think you can get probably the yellow Delrin. Well, you can't get it right now because I think it's out of stock, but I think you can probably get the yellow Delrin version of this for less than a Case Sodbuster, and this is a great knife. This Baron Son 4-inch Barlow, fantastic knife. I love this knife. It's probably up there in my top 10 of knives that I enjoy carrying, because it's very good looking. It's very well made. Um, so I'm super impressed with Baron Son here lately. I'm sure they still have some quality issues here and there. But Case needs to get their stuff together because Great Eastern Cutlery is number one when it comes to production traditional pocket knives. And now you have Cooper Cutlery over there in Ohio. And I think they're probably second place. And I think most people would agree with that. Although I haven't had a recent production Cooper Cutlery knife, but I have heard good things. Um, and then third, I think might be Baron Son at this point. If Baron Son keeps putting out these, really nice knives, they're making, as far as I'm aware, they're making the Queen knives for Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and they're fairly decently made and everything. Um, but the two last Case knives that I got have had serious blade centering issues. This one's all sorts of messed up, wonky blade nonsense here. It's hard to show you because I'm so used, because it's like, yeah, but I mean, I think you can all see that it's cocked off to one side really weirdly. And then the spot of corrosion on the tang, like I don't know what that's about, but that's like inexcusable as far as I'm concerned with a new pocket knife. This knife was not sitting in a box long enough for it to just get corrosion on it, and you should have covered it in some sort of oil anyway. It's carbon steel. But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting about Case now. I just really want them to get their stuff together. I know there's gonna be a bunch of comments on this video about send the knife back, do this, do that. I've sent a knife back. It was an annoying process. I'm just going to keep this, and I'm probably actually going to carry it just because I like the knife. I just wish it was better made. And I wish that, most of the Case knives that I've gotten have been better made. Although, for whatever reason, they're medium stockmans. I don't know what's up with their medium stockmans and like their trappers. I guess they maybe pay attention more to like the knives that people collect, which is like the medium stockmans and the trappers. People love them for some reason. I can't stand a trapper. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't like the case trapper, just because I don't really need the spay blade for anything. I like jumbo trappers because they're cool. Um, but yeah, so Case needs to get their stuff together, or Baron Sun's going to take all of their business. I think Baron Sun. Well, I shouldn't say all their business because they'll always be the case collectors. But for people like me who just enjoy pocket knives and want to carry their knives and everything, if Baron Sun could start putting out knives this nice, like this one here, regularly for, you know, for the same prices they are now, or maybe even a little more, and they ramp up production and start producing a lot more knives. I think their operation's fairly small. I don't really know. It's definitely bigger than Great Eastern Cutlery, I would assume, um, but it's nowhere near the size of WR Case and Son. Um, but anyway, to round out my feelings on this knife, first of all, blade's like 3 inches long. Can't carry it if you live in the United Kingdom. They wouldn't let you carry it anyway. It's a razor blade. They'd probably have an issue with that for some reason. Um, Governments, am I right? But anyway, handles like about 4 inches long. Similar size to this knife, actually. This knife's a good knife to compare to it. Similar size. This is a way better knife. If you can get your hands on one of these, do it. They're fantastic. I suggest them. And like I said, you can check out other people's videos. And I have heard nothing bad about these, like at all. These Baron Sun 4-inch Barlows. Um, I hope they do some more blade shapes because I mean I like a sheep's foot and everything, but I would love to have a spear blade version of that. If anybody from Baron Sun happens to be watching this. But to round out my thoughts on the Case Razor here, I think Case may have opened a knife out of the vault that they weren't really ready to produce yet, maybe. Although maybe I've just gotten incredibly unlucky with the two that I got. Guys, if you've gotten Case Razors, let me know how yours were. Because the two that I've gotten have not impressed me, and it's really a knife. It's a knife I really wanted to like. Um, I may end up trying to get another Case Razor at some point if they release another carbon steel variant. Just because, like I said, I really do want to like this knife. Just the two examples that I had were not good. Now, my blue saw cut one, since they fixed it, is fine. But that's in stainless steel, which isn't really my favorite. But yeah, just to round out the video, I want Case to get better. Um, some people say that the only way they're going to get better is to send the knives back and everything. I don't necessarily know if they really care all that much because I assume that they probably sell way more knives and never get them back than they do get knives in for repair and warranty and all that. So I'm not sure if anybody really cares about that. And you know, so many of Case customers are just people that buy the knives and either just keep them in the box thinking that they're going to be worth what like the knives from like the 20s to like the 40s are worth, which they're not ever going to be worth that because they're not made to the same standard. But some people I think that. But anyway, I buy knives to use them. This knife is probably just going to get carried regardless of its faults. But yeah, I'm just a little disappointed with it, and I want Case to be better. I don't hate Case. I really just am kind of disappointed. I think I said that in my last video too. It's just disappointing when you get a knife that you really want to like. Everything about it's great, but then it's got some serious issue, like the blade, you know, pretty much scratching the liner, and then when you open it, it's all sorts cocked in the wrong direction and everything. Um, so yeah, I probably will carry the knife, but it's not great. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good day.